for Pakistani Women in Computing, and I'm the president of Women in Science and Engineering Club at Habib University. As someone who is very enthusiastic about building communities, I'm really excited for this session. So our focus for the conversation is to understand how can you build student communities, how impactful this experience can be, and how exciting can this be, and what are some challenges that you can face in the journey. So let me introduce our guests. We have Fiza Ruhail, who is doing her bachelor's in computer science from FAST Lahore. She's a DSC lead for FAST Lahore, former participant of Google Code U, a Google Women Tech Maker Scholar, and the campus ambassador for Pakistani Women in Computing. We have Samira Ismail. She's a senior year computer science undergraduate student at Butums University in Quetta. She has been a campus ambassador for Women Engineers Pakistan and is currently a student ambassador for Pakistani Women in Computing. And we have Ramsha Saad, who is doing her master's in human computer interaction from Bomas University, Weimar. She did her bachelor's in computer science from Habib University and is currently global lead of technology for Pakistani Women in Computing. She founded the Women in Science and Engineering Club at Habib University and is a Grace Hopper Scholar for 2018. Welcome to everyone. How are you?
Good.
So for the format, we'll be asking individual. So for the format, we'll be asking individual questions and panel questions from our panelists, and then at the end, we'll move towards the question from the audience. Um, so to start off, let's begin by understanding actually what student communities are. What are their purposes and what are their objectives? Samina, can you highlight and tell us something about this?
Thank you, Huda. It's really an honor today for me that I'm speaking for Global Pakistan Tech Summit. Well, actually, student communities is basically a group of students. They may belong from some diverse background or maybe some similar backgrounds, but the core purpose of these students are to learn, to collaborate, to explore, and to get exposure. I believe there is so much more in education just than teaching. You need to be connected to the community. You need to get to be an updated person. So, student communities make you be more participative in your community. Examples of being a student community, there can be student communities like it can be a book reading club, it can be even a Facebook group where you share ideas, you get some feedback over your work, etc. And it can also be even an official organization from where you you explore things, you get exposure, you help others or you get help from them. And one thing that uh, actually these communities teaches us is it makes you a better person, it makes you a good time manager, it makes you a person who will have good communication skills, and it will make you collaborative.
Um, so Samina, this journey of joining student communities and building student community, it is fueled by certain motivation. What was your motivation to join a student community or to build a student community?
So I was always motivated about student communities even from primary schools. I used to get bored in the school just by reading the textbooks and all that, being bored. So I used to I liked volunteering in events, I liked meeting people and all this. So it was, first of all, it was a kind of refreshment for me. Second thing, I had these tough times where I wasn't sure what I'm going to do with my life. Then these guys from these senior guys who were admitted in some universities, who were pursuing their careers in fields where I was interested, when they started helping us out, when they started counseling, these all things really made me to this gave me a feeling of responsibility, that if I'm getting help from somebody, tomorrow someone should get help from me. It was a responsibility for me. So yeah.
You were filled with passion from a very young age. So, Ramsha, what about you? What was your motivation? Did you have any role models?
Yeah, so I was interested in taking part in extracurriculars like from the start. And even like when I joined Habib University, I joined a lot of different activities and I took part in forming a club even in my first semester and having leadership roles in clubs. But what particularly motivated me to build a student community for women in tech was that even though I was part of these other extracurriculars, they weren't as fulfilling for me. And I felt like those weren't my true passion. So then I decided that I wanted to focus on women in tech. Also, considering the fact that Habib University was a new university and there was not there was not any clubs or student-led organization for women in STEM fields, I decided that this is what I want to do. Additionally, there I did have role models and mentors who, in the form of professors who were working for women in science and engineering. So there was the program director, Dr. Wakar, and the only female faculty member in computer science, Dr. Saleha. Both of them were people I went to for help uh, when forming this club, and they helped in kind of spreading this initiative within the university. And
As
that was my
someone who is at Habib
motivation.
University, as someone who is at Habib University now, I can say there are many people whose role model you are now. Fiza, what about you? How did your journey start? What was your motivation?
Well, I had a lot of motivation at the start because I was just curious about how everything worked, and but I never really had that kind of I didn't nobody motivated me enough to just join one of the societies or something. So when I first came into university, there were really helpful people around me. Like there was some seniors, and they were really encouraging. They told me that why don't you start participating in different activities, join different clubs. And I was like, all right, me being I'm the kind of person who just likes to experiment with things, so I just joined up another society. And then shortly afterwards I also got to become the Women Techmaker Scholar. So I mean, that just gave me a visibility platform. So I learned a lot when I came back. I learned about the imposter syndrome. I learned about few of the techniques that were useful. And I felt like this should be shared with everybody, not just me. So when I came back, I started giving these sessions. I mean, they were really small. There were about 10 to 20 people, but it was just, sharing my experience and telling them about, what imposter syndrome is. Like, we're not alone. There are different things that we can connect to, even in my university. So eventually that, my passion just grew more, and I connected with different people, and, they were really diverse. I got to know about their experiences, their journey, how we can help each other out in our communities.
You all have been working very passionately for your communities. Um, Fiza, can you please mute your mic? I think there's some disturbance at the end of Fiza. We can continue. Um, so you all have been working very passionately for your communities, and so can you walk us through your journey? What have you been able to achieve so far? Ramsha, can you?
Yeah, so as I said, I formed a club at Habib University called Women in Science and Engineering, and I was also the first student from my university to attend the Grace Hopper conference. So that conference was where like I met a lot of women in STEM, and I learned a lot, and I wanted to bring that back to Habib University. So when I got back, I held a session for other students, and I tried to bring this impact back to the students at Habib University. And it's great to see that like after that, a lot of people were applying to the Grace Hopper conference, and I could see like a lot of wonderful women over there who are very passionate about women in STEM. And I'm really glad to see that the leadership after me for WISE is really great. So I'm really glad to have started the club, and I hope to extend this impact beyond Habib University as well.
I wish that you can create the impact that you envision. Fiza, what about you? What impact have you been able to create? How has your journey been?
I'm really sorry for for the disturbance earlier. So I would just like to continue where I left off. So I was telling that when I came back as a woman tech maker scholar, it just really motivated me, and I felt like I have a platform and I can share information with everybody. So that led me to do these small events like 10-20 people, tell them about the scholarship, about the different opportunities that I've been exposed to that others don't know about. So I mean, it started off there, and gradually just I was really motivated, and I started to apply for the DSC lead. It's a developer student club community for for each university. You can apply for it, and then you can talk about different emerging technologies with your peers, and help grow each other. So I mean, that's where I applied. And the thing is that I wasn't actually even applying at the start. My friends just basically just really encouraged me and motivated me. So that was just something that I got from the community as well. They they just really motivated me and made me this confident that you can do this. So I just wanted to do the same for everybody else. So when I became the DSC lead, I tried my best, and we have managed 3 to 4 events where we have talked about resumes, about how to personally brand yourself and use different technologies, how to use quick labs. And yeah, that's about it. But the process is still going on, and since now I'm the PWIC campus ambassador as well, I just want to continue this, and I share as much information as possible with everybody else.
Fiza, truly a supportive circle is such a great blessing. It truly helps. Samina, what about you? How has your journey been? What has you been able to achieve?
My journey started from very early age, but for some time I was down. But again, it's good all now. So about my achievements, I must say I've achieved a lot, from being psychological achievements to personality development. I've achieved a lot. I'm a more confident person now. I am a more collaborative person now. I do manage my time well, and I can now speak well, maybe. And apart from this, my circle, my network is widened. I know I am now a more confident, I'm well aware about my situation, what will happen in the future, what opportunities I have, how to get help with people. So these are all about my own personal development. And apart from this, about the journey, well, it started in 2019 with WEP, Women Engineers Pakistan, where they assigned me tasks to do some school outreach programs. Both I did two of them. They both were very successful, and I hope the students, my audience, they have learned something from me. And then PWIC, where we haven't done much I haven't done much, but I'm looking forward to do a lot here. And else, apart from this, I've been volunteering in many events in my university, where I met so many personalities. I learned a lot. So these are the great achievements, I should say. So this is my journey. It's like a part of my life, and going on with me.
From personal development to your journey, it has been great. Fiza, what about you? How has your journey personally impacted you? Apart from what impact you have created, how has your journey impacted you personally?
So I would like to say that, I'll be honest about myself in a sense that I was a person who used to believe that, you are defined by who you are. All right. So community did not mean much to me at the start. Like I believe that all, the work that you put in, like it's just you. So that really drastically, changed when I started joining these societies, and I started, being exposed to societies and communities. There's a quote that could basically sum up everything. So what I used to believe was that, if you there's a quote that says that if you want to go fast, then you have to go alone, but if you want to go far, then you have to go together. So I think this beautifully sums up everything, that if you want to go far and you want to achieve success and also help others in their journey, you guys do need to go together, because that's an amazing way to build each other up as well. So that is exactly how it impacted me. My confidence also boosted up. I learned so many new things that probably I wouldn't even have bothered to just explore on my own. And personally, I feel like it has made me a better person, more collaborative person, and open to new and different things. And yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up.
This is such a great take that if you want to achieve so much more, go with the group. Ramsha, what about you? How has your journey personally impacted you?
Yeah, so for me, I think a lot of the times I used to have imposter syndrome and feel like I was not good enough for things. But being involved in student communities, meeting other people, other women, and connecting with them, and realizing that everyone who achieves greatness, they all have felt imposter syndrome at some points in their lives. So you feel this sort of connection to them, and you learn from them, and you get your tribe. And that kind of helped me out by getting my tribe, being connected with the women who were passionate about the same things as I was. And I felt connected. I didn't feel as alone. I didn't feel as if like there weren't a lot of people like me. I got connected to these, and being a part of this community helped me be recharged. So I think it's kind of similar to what Fiza said, that being it helps you gain confidence to be around each other, and it's not just about you. If these women are making you feel good about yourself, you're also making other women feel good about themselves, and that's what it's about.
So we can clearly say communities make you. So other than that, having a personal impact on you, what has your experience been able to give you in terms of opportunities? As a woman in tech, what opportunities did it create for you, Ramsha?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I've attended the Grace Hopper conference, and that was a large part of the opportunities I gained. So the opportunity to get the scholarship was a big one in itself, but attending the conference helped me to kind of streamline the areas that I was interested in. Like I was interested in human computer interaction, mixed realities, quantum computing. These were a few different things. And in a university like Habib University, we didn't have all of these subjects because it was a new university. So this attending this conference allowed me to learn more about these fields and to decide which areas I was going to go into, because uh, a lot of the times when you don't have the community and you're just attending studying engineering or computer science, you feel like there's very limited options, very limited fields for you to go into, but there's a whole lot more out there for you. And I think getting connected and being a part of student communities opens you up to all of these opportunities, and that helped me a lot. And besides that, even it helped me when I thought about applying for graduate school. Being a part of these communities gave me the insights to understand where I wanted to go, and it gave me the connections to ask for mentorship when I was stuck deciding between some universities.
So your connections broadened your horizons and it gave you to see much more. What about you, Samina? How has your journey created opportunities for you?
So I must say that my journeys have I've this has brought me so many opportunities. I'm right now that I've joined so many communities. I'm connected to many of these communities, from being designing to this STEM mentorship, all of these. So opportunities came here when I was with WEP. So I explored so much, and they used to send me to these events and all this, where I knew that my it was an opportunity for me, and it was very something really big for me. I never knew I would attend such kind of events. So another thing that we made a community, a small one in my own university with my own classmates. We are 4 people. So we used to do what we worked like for like more than 2 years. We worked on some projects. Some of our projects were rejected, some of them accepted. And we also worked on a project which is recently announced. The results are recently announced. It's AgriFarm, a mobile application. we had the opportunity to participate there and show our work. It was selected one of the top tens, and now selected as a winner from Pakistan. So this opportunity made me really, while working with AgriFarm, we met so many mentors, so many designers, because I'm working with the UI UX designers. I'm time and again talking about the designers. So it was the Googlers who were supervising us. So these kind of opportunities were really like, I never expected these all. Apart from these, some other communities like these Facebook groups and my other connections who share opportunities and about these are announcements. I think they will help me in the future. Yeah.
Congratulations on your achievement, Samina. It's really great.
Thank you so
Um,
much.
and Fiza, what about you? What stepping stones in terms of opportunities has your journey created for you?
All right. So, I mean, Samina and Rimsha, explain it really well. I just want to add a few things over here. So, for me personally, when I, saw, I'll just tell you, how it basically started for me. So, when I saw a post, that was, one of the girls, Maham, she posted about Women Tech Maker Scholarship, and she told me that she had, kind of gotten the scholarship, and she has achieved this. So I personally, just I was so shocked at that moment. I was like, somebody has won from Pakistan, and that's a scholarship. I mean, definitely they'll not even select me. So I was like, all right, that was a community. So I just commented, all right, so I'm interested to apply. And she was really helpful. She just helped me so much with it. She told me how to apply, how to go with the whole procedure. And then when I actually even got it as well. So then I realized the power of these communities, how they can encourage and motivate each other. Like, if I didn't see that post, maybe I might have thought that since we all have imposter syndrome, since we all think that obviously there must be somebody better than all of us. So I would probably never even have applied. So communities help each other in in different ways that we don't even would normally even do stuff like that. So I mean, apart from all of that, like Samina told, like there are various groups as well, like Facebook groups, PWIC group, scholarship network. All these groups are really, really supportive, and I feel like I've found so many opportunities over there related to technology, personal as well, like technology related. There are always new posts about this is a job offer, this is an internship offer, let me know if you need any help. And there are so many helpful people out there. So what we need to do is just smartly manage our networks and try to just collaborate and talk to different people, get to know about their opinions, and then also post about our stories as well. We might think that this wouldn't even make kind of an impact or something, but it would really make an impact for others. Who knows, it might motivate another person, and that might kind of make an impact for them. So I mean, it's always good to just share different things and just be open. And yeah, I think this is about it.
Yes, motivation is truly a cycle. Um, as humans, we have the same 24 hours, and when we are doing so many things, we often get this question that how do you manage it all? How can you do all? So, what do you have to say on this, Samina? How do you do all?
So I believe that life is all about balancing. It's not always you have to do one task and ignore the others. You can't just prioritize one of them all the time. So it's about managing, it's about balancing. Nobody, I believe nobody is in the world would have been born just for a single task. So for me myself, what I do that I um, I prioritize my work. The more important the work is, I prioritize that. I try to do that first, then move to the other. If it's my studies, if I have some examination or some important assignment, I prefer to do that first. I prioritize that, and I keep my other work aside. But if I have some community activities and that's important, so I will go for that. Apart from this, I believe that we should always start our any activity, any task we are assigned, we must start them from very start and early. The earlier we start our work, the better it will be, and the confident you will be. That, and of course, I believe in these things.
Yes, balancing is the key. What about you, Fiza? How do you do it all?
Well, I wouldn't say I do it all right now as well, but here's to trying. So I'm just going to try and explain how you can make the most out of it. So, I mean, a lot of people ask me, how do you manage studies and co-curriculars at the same time? So, I mean, it's like in the word, if you want to achieve something, then, you can always make time for it. It's just how smartly you manage time. So, what I personally do is that I keep track of my time and my days, in in to-do list for a week or a day, and then I write down like what I need to get done, and then I make these small milestones that I have to achieve. So even in a week's time span, you can allocate 1 or 2 days where you can specifically assign 1 or 2 hours for your community networking, talking to different people, or just even, I mean, you can take it as your break time. So I mean, since we're all humans, we all do take different breaks, and I mean, spend time where we just want to kind of just be ourselves. So what I think as students we can do is that we can make that time for our break time as the community management time. We can just go out, make different friends, community, learn something from it. And yeah, I think I think everybody thinks that it's about being perfect, like you have to get 50-50 out. It's not always like that. I mean, obviously sometimes you do make mistakes, but the important part is that you learn and you keep kind of managing it, and just try to be as organized as possible. And involve different friends too, if that's possible. They can keep a check on you, since if you're making progress, make I mean, these milestones that you can achieve. And definitely anything is possible if you just believe in it. So yeah, I think you should just believe in everything.
Some people say there is no special ingredient, but Fiza says that prioritizing is the one. What about you, Ramsha? What is your special ingredient?
I mean, I agree with both of them, but I think additionally is also consistency. Initially, you will fail, maybe. It's not going to just, everything's not just going to perfectly balance itself out right from the get go. But that doesn't mean that you get demotivated about it and you just stop doing the community activities because you feel they're getting in the way of your studies. I mean, in the long term, if something you're passionate about, it's definitely something to keep going at, even if you're not able to balance it at the start. And eventually, it will happen. Eventually, you will be able to learn how to balance it properly. So it's also there's also a factor of time. Yes, definitely prioritizing and all of these other things go in, but there's not, as Fiza also said, things won't always be perfect. So.
Yeah, just have to keep trying until a point, or rather, we just have to keep trying always, because that is what it is. So, um, from all of this, you may have faced a lot of challenges. So, what challenges did you face?
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest challenges was that when there was not enough support, there were not enough people attending the events, it would get very disheartening. I mean, on Facebook posts, you would get like a lot of comments and reactions, but a lot of people did not attend the events because there were other things going on at the same time, and um, everyone had their different passions. But what helped me through that then was that I saw that those people who are attending, they're the ones who are passionate about it, and even if it's impacting just one person, that is more than enough, because the and even if it's not impacting someone right now, doesn't mean that it won't in the future. Maybe one time there isn't anyone attending the event, next time there may be. So yeah, it can get very disheartening, but at the same time, if you keep going, it will be very rewarding.
Yeah, sometimes we start measuring impact in the terms of terms of count of people, but it is not always how it should be. Samina, what about you? What challenges did you face? How did you tackle them?
So, while you volunteer for some event or somewhere, you don't actually face so many challenges. But when the time comes for leading, or you are speaking, representing, so you see some of the challenges there. You have to manage your time. You have to be have good this communication skills. and you must actually make your content stronger, and you need to convince people to listen to you. So I will share here an incident which happened to me. So I was given the task to do these school outreach programs. I did the first one. It went very well with about 50 plus audience. Then I went for the next one after some days. I thought it would be the same. It would be very nice. People would come. They would have the interest and all these. So I chose this school, which was about 40 minutes away from my home on car. Yeah. So I talked with the principal and the management on call. I did not reach them. So I just briefly told them that this will happen, and they set a time for Saturday. So what happened? Me and my team, we drove there on the day. When I went there, the school was totally empty. There was no one else other than this guard. So we waited there. We waited there. After 1 hour, yeah, there appeared just three students who were really confused. So then we still waited, but nobody came. I had to cancel the event. I came home. It was really disheartening. So I then thought, what actually made this happen. Then the other day I went to the school myself. I talked to them, to the administration and all that. They said, yeah, we did convey your message to the students. If they didn't attend it, we don't know why this happened. So then I signed an agreement, the first thing I did. And then I asked the principal if I can meet the students. I went to the classrooms, I met the students, I talked to them personally, what my event will be, how it will impact you, what will be the time slot, and you can. I also provided them my email address and phone call and all thing. So what I learned from this is that I built this really built my communication skill. The next when it was assigned, the next day when I went for the event, and there was quite very interested, all the students were very interested. I had like 30 plus audience. The event went very well. Everyone was very excited, very interested and excited. They learned very well, and they even asked me to continue these events, come back to our school and these things. So challenges do come, but we have to work and have patience and try to figure out what's missing in me. How can I make it better? How can I improve it? This really makes a person passionate, a person patient. Sorry, it really makes you patient. It improves you. It personally impacts you a lot.
Yeah, truly, if you effective communication can make wonders in the path of what you aspire to do. Faiza, what about you? What challenges did you face? How did you tackle them?
Right. So I'm going to talk about challenges in general tone as well, maybe some specific examples as well. So whenever you start a society, or you are part of a society, you have to face a lot of challenges, right? It can be in the form of maybe somebody discouraging you, or maybe in the form of so many failures as well, that if you go to the talk to the management and you have a proposal and they reject you, or not every time everything goes your way, right? So you need to be confident and persistent in that matter as well. So for example, you need to make sure that your arguments are very they have strong logic behind them and are well reasoned as well. And if somebody says that this cannot happen, then you need to be really you need to be really confident and ask them, all right, so if this is not possible, can this alternative be implemented? Like, you need to be open about different ideas, not just stick to yours, to the original idea that you had. And apart from that, I actually agree with Samina as well and Ramsha when they talked about communication. Like, communication is really, really important, especially with the team. So for example, if you do have a community and you have a team backing you up, right, so there needs to be like a strong communication. So what personally happened to me was that sometimes I would say that I didn't know the difference between a leader and a boss, right? So I mean, at times it would be like, sometimes I tried to make things so perfect, so if anything got a bit wrong, I would just come off as all right, so that didn't happen, so why didn't happen? And I got disheartened as well. So I just feel like if you just kind of have some small fallouts or failures, what you need to do is you need to address them, right? You need to have a strong and open communication with your team and the audience as well, so that they know what is going on. And if there's any confusion, that's just cleared out right in front, right? And apart from that, I also feel like that whenever you're building a community, a lot of times it occurs that you need to show leadership as well. Like you need to keep track of things, like what is going to happen and what it's going to happen, and you need to do it in a really polite manner, and it only comes with practice. And without coming off to just sort of, and you need to just I mean, the idea behind it is just that, whenever you face challenges, you just need to learn from it, and, just try to correct your mistakes. So, another interesting thing that happened to us was when, we tried to organize an event, and there was an electricity outage, and the event was entirely based on the internet and everything. So we were just there like, oh, all right. So, you know what? I think probably the whole event. So, what we did was that at the last moment, we decided to do some damage control. We were like, all right, so what's done is done. It can't be. So we converted that session into something a little bit more useful, in a sense. We decided to talk about scholarships and how these opportunities are available. I mean, agreed that it was totally off topic, and that was not the first topic that we were supposed to cover. Like, it was supposed to be Firebase, but we did give all of them pointers and then talked about it, and everybody was actually even happier. They were like, all right, we learned so much. So the end idea is that it's all right if you have kind of these fallouts, if you make mistakes. The important part is that you recover and you learn and just have this open conversation with everybody. And I think that is all about communities. Like, you learn from your mistakes and just be a better person. And yeah.
Because I just love how your experiences have been and how you tackle them with patience and bringing out the most of it. So I believe there are many people who are watching this session and they are inspired by for building communities, for joining communities. So so for those people, can you tell how can one as a student they can build communities, and also how can they join communities? Samina, can you?
Yeah, so this is not a very challenging thing for doing. I will first of all tell about joining communities. Just look around you, you will find so many people passionate. You will find groups on Facebook. You will find organizations who are working for that particular mission, for that specific mission. Apply for them. They are very welcoming. It's not very hard to get in. So once you get in, you will see how beneficial it is for you. Second thing about building a community. Okay, this can be done by looking around for people who has the same interest as yours. Talk to them if they are interested. Make a group of, not a huge group, but make a group of 3 to 4 people, and start discussing on something that you are interested in, that you believe they are also interested. Be very welcoming, be very patient, and gradually you can expand your group. I will put here an example. We have this book reading club, which is my favorite club here in the town. It's called the Dead People Society. Yeah. So I had these friends, and we were not very close, or this. They asked me out, are you interested? Yeah, we see you are interested in book reading. I said, yeah, I am. So they said that there are other folks as well who are interested in book reading. If you're free in the vacations, let's decide some book, read it in the weekends, and gather gather on the Sundays and discuss about it. So I agreed. We used to read some book in the weekdays and gather somewhere in some school or some anywhere, and used to discuss about that particular book. So what that gave me an idea that when I am reading a book, I am just reading one side of it. But when I am sitting in a gathering, I listen to everybody. I can now be able to know every side of that book. So yeah, it's not really hard to build a community. You can just make a network and collaborate.
Ramsha, what about you? How do you think you can make up a community?
Yeah, so I think if you're just talking about a community within your university, for example, the first step would be, kind of figuring out what the management side of it is. If you're talking about making a club and trying to see how that works out, how to form the club. But additionally to that, what's more important, I think, is finding other people who are interested in that club, as Samina put it. So, like when I was forming Wise, I looked for other women who were also passionate about this and who would be interested in trying to form from the club. So I think that's a big part of it, finding the tribe, finding the right people, and then also looking at like how to do this and how to form clubs and how to form societies. In addition to student communities, like there are other communities as well. Even if like you just need to join a community or just try to become a part of a community and help build that community, then it's important to connect with the people within that community, network with them. If that's something that you're interested in, try to make yourself stand out to them that you're very passionate about this. Because just like if I'm building a community and I'm looking for other people to join me, people who have their own communities already are also looking for people to join them. So it's important to do that. Like when I attended GHC, I met Huma and Farah and Aiza and Fala and a lot of people who were passionate about women in STEM. And like Huma and Farah were like the founders of PWIC. They founded it, and at that time PWIC was in its initial stages. And like after that, like I got connected with them and I started trying to volunteer and put my input into PWIC. And that's how I eventually became the global lead for PWIC. It's by staying connected to PWIC, trying to play my part for it, even if it's a small one at the start, and just showing them that I am passionate about this and I want to be a part of this community and help build it and help it grow. And yeah, basically that's what I think is important.
So looking around, finding the right people.
Yeah.
Fizza, what about you? How will you like to add on Samina and Ramshad that one can build a student community?
Right. So I think this is the main, part of this entire session that we want the audience to take away from this, right? We want people to build communities, but how exactly do you build one? So I think about joining communities, Samina and Ramsha have covered that in detail, that you can just search them up, join them. Everybody's pretty welcoming. So that's pretty simple, right? And straightforward as well. But to build a community, that requires a little bit more commitment and time dedication as well. So first of all, if we're talking about university clubs or societies, if you want to start up one of your own, what I would suggest is that you probably need to get in touch with the higher management, like probably your HOD or some teachers who already have experience in these fields, or even just contact somebody from other societies which are already established. Like it could be already established societies like ACM, IEEE. These are societies that are probably found in almost all the universities, right? So you can ask them for the help regarding the procedure and how to basically start up one of your own society. So whenever you start up a society, there's always a hierarchy that you have to follow, right? There is a president, there's this co-president, and there are co-leads and everything. So I think this is the most important part, finding the right members. Like Ramsha and Samina also said that it's all about communication and about finding the right people. But how do one exactly even find the right people, right? That's the main question. So I think the best way that you can go about it is just conduct interviews, right? And you get to know about everybody's skills and skill set. So another thing that I would like to add over here, diversity is super important. Like I mean, I didn't really value it at first, but diversity is so important. Like if you have one idea and you have somebody on your team that could present an alternative idea, right? So that would eventually, I mean, you would ask yourself, okay, so why did I come up with the first idea in the first place? Like it would allow you to think of the pros and cons and then logically come to a final decision, right? So getting the right team members are really important. And how do you do that? You just conduct interviews, you try to ask everybody about the experiences, and then I mean, obviously you might make mistakes, everybody makes mistakes, but you need to find somebody who's just willing to learn and just collaborative people. And yeah, that's just really important. And apart from that, I feel like once you're done with the technicalities, you can even work out with the sponsorships and everything, but that's just like another step. So this is all about setting up student community, it's pretty straightforward. You could get events approved and everything just comes with time and patience. And hopefully, if you think that it's hard to set up a community, that's not at all the case. Like Samina and Ramsha already said, it's pretty straightforward. And if you have the dedication and you find people that are interested in joining you in the first place, like it could be a society that is related to, you could say, UI UX. A lot of people are interested in it, and you feel like there's a lot of content and you need to share it with these people. So I mean that, you could start it off and yeah, hopefully see where it goes, and just, I mean, yeah, that's about it.
So we can start off by joining communities, and then that experience can help us build communities. As Fiza said, we also have a question from the audience that do you have any tips for putting together a team to help build a community? What kind of members should I look for? So Ramsha, what do you think? And do you like? Would you like to add on what Fiza said? What are the right members?
Yeah, so I think the right members, it kind of depends on what your aim is for the community. So if I'm trying to form a community for women in computer science and engineering, I look for people who are also interested in the same thing, who want to spread awareness about the inequalities in the tech for women and for other people as well. So finding people who are passionate about the same thing and who are also going to be willing to put in the work. So as Fiza also said, like you have to do interviews or just like have conversations with the people who are interested, to just gauge how interested they are in this area. And it's not just for this field, right? Like Samina said, she formed one for reading. So it's just about people who are equally as passionate about you, and also, as Fiza said, people who are diverse, because the more different people there are, the more different ideas you have, the more there is growth, because the same mindset does not always bring about growth, right? You need different ideas, different people who can help you grow the community and help you build the community. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say on this.
So we have to look for passion. Samina, what do you think? What is the right team? And to add on, and Ramja, how do you look for passion? How do you know that the person is the right person, the passionate person?
Yeah, so Ramshine, Fiza, I think they explained quite well. I would, if for my organization or my club or group, I would like to add people. I would see if they are even interested in the thing, or do they just want to be connected. I will see. Of course, these interview things which Fiza mentioned is the most important thing, because through this question answering thing, you come to know those people, and you really come to know that if they are the right people, you will add. So after you interview people and you add them to your group, if you see somebody is not really interested, being absent all the time, and this, so you can just ask them to get aside, if you and for if you see sorry yeah, so and if you see somebody is not really serious, you can just discard them, and there's, I think that's it.
So conversation is the key. It will help us. It will help bring the right team to us. Um, you all have really great aspirations, and you're doing such marvelous work. What plans do you have for future? Fiza, what about you?
So for me, I think for the future, I just want to help other people, and I hopefully want to inspire them and be inspired myself. I just want to add a little bit, for the previous questions. So when we talked about building communities, right? So the emphasis was that it doesn't really have to be legalized. Like you don't have to basically just make sure that if your name of the club of your name is kind of just like legalized, or it's approved, then it's a community. Communities are everywhere. Like it could be as simple as a small group or a WhatsApp group. Like if there are some friends who just love to watch season, let's just say they just love to watch Dynasty, right? So you could just make a small group of them, and that's automatically community, right? So it's not really hard at all. So I just wanted to add that, in case anybody had any questions, that, a community, you need to get it like, globalized, or, it needs to be posted. Communities can be, as simple as from a group to like any probably society or global community as well. And for the future aspirations, like I mentioned, I was the DSC lead for my university, and we've managed to get a few events done. In the future, hopefully, what I want to do is that I want to further make sure that, I participate in different communities and help them grow. And I just want to mentor my juniors and help them with different things. Apart from that, I'm also the PWIC lead as well, for the campus ambassador. So what I aim to do is that I want to inspire, other women as well, and I want to just help them up. So I mean, I'll probably be the DSC mentor for the next year, and probably the aim of the sessions that I want to do is that I want to, tell them about the opportunities and resume building skills, because these are the skills that I feel like, they're not really emphasized that much, especially in our university. So I just want to make sure that, I mean, I just probably share that knowledge with my peers, and yeah, hopefully just make sure that, community grows, and, the DSC also flourishes.
These are just very impactful plans. Sramsha, what about you? What plans do you have for the future?
Yeah, so I'm currently doing my master's, and while studying, like I want to be able to, give advice to people who are trying to come to study abroad, to apply to Germany maybe, and basically help them out in their journey. And yeah, and I also want to, stay connected with PWIC to as much as I can for them, with them, and try to inspire more people, try to help people as much as I can, and just stay on this journey of community engagement and building communities, even if I may not directly be able to do it within the university, but in any way that I can.
Ramsha, I hope that you get to achieve what you plan to on your personal development part and also on the plans that you have. Samina, what about you? What plans do you have for the future?
So I have many plans. The very first plan that I have is to improve my own self, to improve myself, my expertise in my field. Because until I'm not well educated, I'm not well my field, I cannot make others aware of this. Apart from this, after being well settled and all this, I want to help everyone to the way I was helped, the way I got the awareness and all that. I want to share that with my juniors. I want to help them have their own find their ways, find opportunities. And yeah, this thing, it's not something that we will have to do some particular, but it's a daily based work. I believe it's a part of your life that you get connected to people. When you if you are being mentored, you should mentor others. When I was uh, uh, with this doing these sessions, so all the I did with the girls, I must mention it. So these all girls were very very passionate, and they were asking to me that please do it again, we want to know more, and these things. So of course I believe I can do a lot. So I will probably continue my work, and I will try to do better than I'm doing it today.
Samina, you really are so passionate. On the note that that your passion becomes a part of your journey. But I would like to end this session. But before that, I would like to ask that do you have any advices for any of us as closing remarks? Ramsha, what about you?
Yeah. Okay.
Samina, yes, please go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So to share my experiences here, I was a loner. I am an introvert still. So and apart from that, I was with my field is computer science, and being a tech person, it's all about you and your laptop. So you totally get disconnected from the other people around you. the situation, my situation, I got disconnected with the outside world. Even I hesitated of going outside. I used to think people are judging me, they may be judging my dress or whatever. But then when I got connected with the communities, I worked with them, I learned that nobody is perfect, everybody has something, some imperfection, and it's totally fine. I then tried to I accept myself. So I just get connected to your close ones, to every person in your community. It doesn't mean if you're in education or somewhere, get connected, because until you're not connected to people, you're not an updated person. So connection really makes you updated and gets you ready for your future, for what's coming in the future, so you can face it well.
So put yourself forward. Kamsha, any advices you would like to share with us?
Yeah, so I think I'll continue from what Samina was saying about getting connected. One more thing that I feel is important about getting connected is that until you get connected, you won't understand what problems to solve. So, like if you're working in the tech field and we're just working with a laptop and we're trying to build solutions for things, we can't really build the solution that will help people. And if that's what we want to do, it's important to be connected with people to actually be able to help the people, because connecting with people actually teaches us the fundamentals of what it is that they want, what it is that they uh, are interested in. So that's one important thing. And the other thing I would say is that no matter the situation, if it's always good to stay consistent in in your efforts to be part of student communities, and even if it gets disheartening, know that it will get better, and you should just keep at it.
So centralizing the people, centralizing the user, that is what we have to do. Rafiza, what about you? What advices do you have for us?
So I would just like to, end everything, everything that we just said before by just saying that, you should not be afraid to just, to apply it. Like, I mean, if you're afraid to join a community or to start one, there's always a fear. Like, I totally get that. It's relatable, but, it should not stop you from just opening up a new, community, or building a new one, or joining one, right? So, I mean, think of it in this way, that if you don't apply or you don't join one, it's already like, like, you just have to have the mindset of, you don't have anything to lose, right? You only have, this aim to learn. So i mean I mean, try to take as many risks in this matter. Like, it's all right to fail, it's all right to make mistakes, but the important part is that we get back up every single time and not give up. And yeah, community building is all about that. And hopefully, I mean, we get to see a lot of more communities in the future, and a lot of leaders that haven't really stepped up before, like, like Ramsha mentioned, Samia mentioned, a lot of people, a lot of us are introverts, but it's all right to experiment. And I guess that's about it. Like, everybody can do it, and just you need to believe in yourself.
So stay connected, take lead, and take your chances. On this note, we end of this session. Thank you everyone for joining us. Allah Hafiz.
Love is